Hey, it's Mark Strigl, and what an honor to talk to Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Paul Stanley, who has some great new music out. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing terrifically. In the midst of this pandemic and all the situations going on, I'm doing quite well, thanks.
That is so good to hear. And another thing that is so good to hear is the new album by Soul Station, Now and Then. Great stuff. I mean, it's what we need right now, what I need, because it takes me away to a different place, maybe even a different point in time. It's an escape. And I want to talk about some of the individual songs and even the production on the record. But first, if you could give us a little background on Soul Station and why now is the time to move ahead with an album?
Well, uh, I grew up with all kinds of music, and when I was, I think, about 10 years old, I saw Solomon Burke. When I was 15, I saw Otis Redding.
Wow.
Um, I've always been a huge fan of any music that falls into the category of R&B, and in that category are so many different regional sounds. But it's always been amazing to me when Motown came in, Smokey and the Miracles. I remember first hearing that, and it was elegant and not perfect. And that's the
Right.
beauty of some of this music, is that you don't um, you don't strive for perfection at the expense of passion. So that music always was a part of my life, and certainly I've journeyed through all different types, and they've all been influences and all been part of the foundation. So probably about 6 years ago, I thought, some of the music I love, whether it's Philly soul or Motown or Memphis Stax or some of the Atlantic acts, and on and on and on. Their songs are being relegated to being samples in rap tunes, and
Right.
that's fine. But people should hear these songs. They're just fabulous songs. So selfishly, I started reaching out to people with great backgrounds, and Soul Station came together, and we've done shows. We did 12 shows in Japan in 6 days, and have played numerous other shows. And now was a great time for us to finally get to the studio. The band is phenomenal and has incredible pedigrees, but the fact is that everybody in the band loves playing this music, and it's really, I think it really comes across, whether on the album or if you see the band live or the videos. Everybody's having a ball.
Yeah. And there are some original songs on it, but I first want to talk about the classics that you cover because one thing I did is I listened to your versions, which were just the production was rich and warm, this lush, beautiful production. And then I went back and I listened to the originals. And the one thing that really struck me is you somehow simultaneously updated the production, but yet stayed real true to the original stuff like detail, like the snare drum. You got that snare drum down the way they had it on the old Smokey Robinson, the Miracle records, and yet and the strings. So, can you talk about the balance in the production of it? Because again, there is an updated sound to it, but you also stay true to the classic Motown production.
Well, it's interesting in that what we were trying to do was recreate or reproduce what we remembered. We didn't A B things, in other words, play this
Okay.
and then. Um, so we were going for truth and going for a real honest sound, but technology has come, light years since those songs came out. And to negate that would be nuts. And although we didn't try to employ uh, any of technology, so to speak, the fact is that if you listen to some of those old recordings, fidelically and sonically, they don't hold up that well.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that the Soul Station album and the songs just sound honest, and they sound vibrant and live. Um, but we weren't trying to replicate. And as far as the singing, look, I am not Eddie Kendricks. I'm not Levi Stubbs. Not Smokey Robinson. But that's not what this is about. It wasn't about doing impersonations. It was about capturing the intent and capturing the passion behind those vocals. So, um, was I shackled to note for note? No, but I wanted to stay true to it, and yet at the same time, not be in a position where um, it may not be always recognizable as what people know my singing to be, but it's also not where you're going to hear it and think it's, the original track. It somehow balances, and that is the beauty of it, I think, is that it balances now and then.
Yeah. And you said real, and to me that's what this has. It has real musicians. It has I see you guys in a real studio. So much now we see people just recording on their laptop. That is not what I mean. I saw sheet music on stands in the recording of this, which is just refreshing. And you hear that. You hear how the real live sound, and we're talking again, Soul Station, the new album is Now and Then. Just some great songs, and I have to tell you that there's some. I didn't originally realize that there are originals on this record, so I was actually Google. I was like, I don't know this song, but it's a classic Motown. I'm Googling it, and finally I went back and read the press release. I was like, oh, this is an original song, which is really says a lot to the songs, because like I do, to me that sounds like it's a lost track from like 1970 or something on Motown. Do you talk about the original songs?
Yeah, I'm so pleased because so many people either say, God, it's seamless between the old and the new. But more often than that, they go, who originally did Lorelei? Or,
Yeah.
you know, I don't remember that track. Who did that? So, mission accomplished. I didn't want to, again, I wasn't painting by numbers, and I wasn't trying to imitate something. I was immersed in it. I was immersed in the band, being in the studio, doing shows, hanging out. I mean, this is a band of every nationality, every ethnicity, every background musically, and we all are like this family, just championing this music, and we love hanging out. So
Right.
um, initially, I thought, well, let me write one track for the album, um, so it's not purely uh, all the classics. And I wrote "Save Me," and did the charts, did the horns, did the strings, and came out really, really well. And I went, I think I've got another, and I just kept going. And after 5 songs, I said, that's it. We've got an album with 14 songs on it, and um, it represents beautifully, I think, the roots of this music, and it also shows that the music is timeless because the new tracks are just as powerful today as they would have been at that time. So I do, whenever you're ready, um, IOI is, you know, I love all these tracks. And whether you're watching the video or seeing the band live, there's an undeniable chemistry and joy in what we do.
Can you talk about some of the musicians, specifically the vocalists that are working with you on this? I know at the, there's just some, you're on lead for the most part, but you also let some of the other singers shine. I know at the end of the Spinner song, Could It Be I'm Falling I'm in Love, at that last 30 seconds, there's another voice that comes in. I walk around with my heart in my
Yeah.
hands. And who
Um,
is that?
that's Gavyn Rhone. and Gavyn's been
Wow,
around.
he's great.
Yeah, he's been around. He's actually, when he's not in Soul Station, he's the lead singer now in the Gap Band when the Gap Band goes out, and
Cool.
Gavyn is just super. Crystal Starr, who does a duet with me, Crystal, I think of her like the mama, um, only in terms of she gets everybody together, gets the harmonies worked out. And Crystal's DNA is awesome because her dad was a backup singer for Jackie Wilson. So
Oh, wow.
she's got the DNA, and he comes to all the shows, and he just goes, "Hey, this sounds just like the originals." So, and Loren Beato is our other vocalist, fabulous. Great pedigree again. And for me, this isn't like me with backup singers. I make it real clear to everybody, this is our band. And
Yeah.
when we play live, they're used to kind of doing oohs and ahs in the background of somebody and kind of being wallpaper.
Right.
With us, it's like, no, 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 no. Come on out here and kick some ass.
Yeah.
So they get their due, as does everybody else. Sean Hurley, our bass player, is I mean, there's James Jamerson and Duck Dunn just popping out of him. And he was on the road with John Mayer. Our musical director, Alex Alessandroni, was musical director for Whitney Houston and Natalie Cole and Cher and Pink and Christina Aguilera. Our drummer has a long, illustrious history and has been
Yeah.
in KISS for the last 25 years or so. But he's in the band because he grew up playing big band music with his dad, and he's a really, really well schooled and a terrific musician. You couldn't take a hard rock drummer and throw them into this situation; it just wouldn't work.
I
Um,
listened to the whole record not realizing that Eric was playing drums on it, and then when I watched the video, I was like, "Oh my god, that's Eric." I mean, because it totally different sound than what we know from Eric with Kiss, you know?
yeah, so um, everybody's at their A game. Rafael Moreira, Hoffa, we call him. He's a guitar player, and he played on TV, that rock star in excess. He was part of the house
Okay.
band on that, and he toured with Pink and a bunch of others. And he's just a phenomenal musician, and was in my solo band that went out uh, about 6 years ago, 8 years
Okay.
ago, probably. And the list goes on, and I'm leaving people out. John Pappenbrook, our lead trumpet player, played with Sinatra and played
Yeah.
with Buddy Rich. So
Wow.
yeah, we everybody. Ray Islas, our percussionist, he's just the go-to percussionist for recording, and also was just out on tour with Chicago, did as their percussionist. So it's a fabulous band, and I'm leaving some people out, and they'll be angry, but I love them all.
Right. Yeah. And just an incredible sound. We're talking about Soul Station. The new record again is Now and Then, the only record at this point. You mentioned touring. Do you think we'll get to see you guys later this year? I know you're probably busy with Kiss, and who knows what's going on with COVID, but we'd love to see Soul Station out on the road again.
I'm optimistic because um, I think the idea of big bands going out and doing arenas or stadiums, I think we've got a long way to go before that happens.
Okay.
Just we'll pick up the end of the road tour as soon as we can, but um, that's on going to be on hold. A lot of bands or a lot of people can be putting tickets on sale for concerts, but most of them are going to wind up postponing again because it's not safe, and promoters can't get insurance. So there's so many reasons why that's not going to happen. However, the idea of Soul Station doing smaller shows, I think, is much more possible. So
Wow.
during that time, could we be out there playing? Fingers crossed, man. I want to go.
Yeah. And as a fan of your songwriting through the years, I mean, we always think, oh, well, Paul, he's influenced by Zeppelin and The Who and loud rock. But I really think even in songs like, Come On and Love Me and Tonight You Belong to Me, Hide Your Heart, Shout It Out Loud, even, of course, Rock and Roll All Night, Hard Luck Woman, we hear these Motown and soul influences in those songs. Would you agree with that?
Totally. Um, some much less obvious than others, but it's unavoidable because it's part of the music that I love and part of the music I grew up listening to. Um, the easiest reference point would be Shout It Out Loud. It goes, when the night's begun and you want some fun, do you think you're gonna
Right.
find it? That's the
Yeah.
Four Tops. That's
Yeah.
all that is.
Wow.
It's the lead vocal and the background's answering it. So um, there's songs that I've written that really could have been Spinner songs, but we didn't do that arrangement.
Right.
So yeah, my roots are showing.
Absolutely. So many great songs on this. It was really, I don't know, it gave me the chills. The Ooh Child song that was originally done by the Five Stair Steps.
Mhm.
Such hopeful lyrics, again, and that just what we need during this time. Specifically that song. Do you remember hearing that song for the first time? Any memories of that song from when you were younger?
Yeah, it felt very street.
Yeah.
Even though there were horns on it, it felt stripped down. It didn't feel like a big string section, horn section. There was something much more street level about it, and I think that's part of the initial appeal of it. Um, and over time, I think just the idea of that optimism that things are going to get easier and things are going to get better, and one day we're going to walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Um, Even before the pandemic started, when we were doing shows live, that's a song that I would say to everybody, this is a great song about optimism and about a better future. So I think that that's timeless.
Absolutely. And I know this album has just come out, but is there potentially more Soul Station albums down the road, or is this just a one-off in your mind?
I I I really don't see it as a one-off.
Right.
Um, I'm having too much fun,
Yeah,
and
you can hear that.
the response has been really a bonus. Look, to me, mission was accomplished by putting the band together. Mission was accomplished by doing an album, but the fact that it's been embraced and met with the kind of response it has is just um, it's uh, affirm affirming. It gives affirmation, and I don't see it as a one off. It it would feel like I threw a gift away. It's much
Yeah.
too nice a gift to get rid of.
Yeah, it is a great, great listen, guys. Now and then by Soul Station, we are talking with Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Paul Stanley. Paul, before I let you go, I love these shoes, man. Any plans for more Pumas?
Everything's on hold at the moment. I think companies are all in a state of um, flux, turmoil, trying to figure out where they go next. And um, I will make sure that one way or another, there are shoes for everybody.
Yeah, I love them. They're the Paul Stanley signature Pumas, highly recommended. And I think they sold out pretty quick, so I'm not even sure you can get them anymore.
Yeah, I think I saw them on eBay for quite a high number, a handsome number.
Right on. Cool. And thank you for the Dubai concert. We loved that. And again, in this strange year, that was definitely a fun way for my wife and I to end it in bed with you guys rocking out. And I thought one of the most important things you said during that concert was the vaccine only works if you get vaccinated. So let's hope everyone goes out there when they have access to it and get vaccinated so we can all rock again.
Amen.
Cool. Thank you, Mr. Paul Stanley, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate your time.